Good evening. Today we're talking about Ocean Waves, which I just saw recently. People need to understand that though this is a Ghibli film, it is not the same grandiose fantasy sci-fi adventure. It's a high school drama directed towards an older audience. It's also a very short TV special. It's an hour and 10 minutes, I think. Keep in mind when you start this, or else the film will be disappointing, not because of the film itself, but due to your close-minded expectations of a studio that did much more than just fantasy, sci-fi adventures. The story, put in one badly written sentence, is about two close friends who fall in love with the same badly tempered woman who can't stop making bad choices. When I say close best friends, we're talking some Shinji Kawaro type of deal. There are many times in this film where it gives you those red flags that these two might actually be into each other. When I saw the scene where they stand at the edge of the water during the sunset together, I thought for sure they were going to confess their love for one another, but it goes in another direction. The movie begins with its introduction set in the future at the end, near the end of the film. Then it goes back with most of the movie showing the kids going into the school and going into college. In the last scene, they are back to around the time the introduction takes place. So it starts in the future, it goes back to the past, and then it progresses and it gets towards the time it was in the beginning of the film when it starts. As for what happens all this time, Rikako uses Taku, for money and companionship. She had no interest in paying him back and flees to Japan. Taku goes with her, probably because towards the end he is revealed to like her by Yutaka. Taku and Rikaku end up at a hotel where Rikaku gets drunk and passes out. She ends up disappointed with visiting with her dad because her room was tempered with. Her and Taku go back and stop talking. Earlier in the film, when Taku gives her money, she tells him to keep it a secret, but he tells Yutaka anyways. Rikaku confronts Taku about this in frustration, and then later after the hotel drinking scene, Rikaku spills that to the school, which causes Taro to become a target of gossip, and he confronts her about that. Was she getting back at him here, or just making more bad decisions? Then, in a scene more powerful and flowing with more justice than any Kate movie scene, Taku confronts Rikaku finally when he finds out she harshly rejected Yutaka. She calls her the worst, which results in Rikaku slapping him with cease out of how right he was. Then Taku starts charging his hand and slowly starts building energy as he winds up the counter slap. He slowly moves the open hand in to the prey and administers a dose that slaps the soul out of her. I think I rewatched that bit a good 10 times before I moved on with the film. She just leaves after that. Eventually, Taku sees Rikaku getting bullied, but decides to just stand there and listen while doing nothing. Afterwards, he tells her how she was tough for dealing with them, in which Rikaku then tells him he is the worst and gives him a hand tattoo in the face with another slap. After she leaves, Yutaka passes by, and Taku tells him what happened, and it's like he did not see the wrong in what he did. So he's still happy telling Yutaka the same story. So upset as well, Yutaka punches Taka on the other side of the face for not doing anything. They decided not to talk to him for a long time after this. Now that they are adults, the students all get together and party. There's a few silly drunk scenes here, but Rikaku doesn't show up to it. However, a friend tells Taku she wants to see a friend who likes sleeping in bathtubs. It's clearly Taku, since that is where he slept when Rikaku got drunk in the bathtub. When Rikaku got drunk at the hotel. At the end of the film, Taku is at the train station, like in the introduction. He sees who he thinks is Rikaku. He runs desperately to the other side of the tracks, and though it appears he misses the train, he turns around and sees Rikaku is there. She smiles at him, and I hope she has changed by this time. In the credits, at least, we see them spending time together and having what looks like happy times. Overall, I enjoyed this film. I can understand why many don't because, as I stated earlier, about expectations. I'm sure to many it's like Taku said halfway into it, it is starting to sound like a bad soap opera. I really wonder what was the intention behind that line. Because I feel like this film had internal fighting between the staff. Because it just would have made so much sense if the two guys ended up getting together. I mean, it was kind of obvious that Taku noticed something about Yutaka, and it looked kind of obvious too that Yutaka had a problem. Am I saying this kid's name right? I am really bad with names. I am. So Yutaka is obviously bothered by Rikaku and Taku. But I mean, who wouldn't get bothered? If your best friend is gonna be getting together with some girl, that means that's less time for you to be there because they're gonna want to be alone. So I can't understand. That's another reason why Yutaka might have felt that way. Anyhow, this one's an 8 out of 10 for me. I think it would have been better to just have Taku and Yutaka get together. It also feels almost as if that was the intention of the script and it changed during production. That's my thoughts on Ocean Wave. Definitely go see it.